Okay, here is our next question. How do you delete columns from a data frame in R? So say we have this data frame, it has three columns, A, B, and C, let's say, and we want to lose this column. If you're wondering why you want to do this, multiple reasons. Again, data cleansing is probably the most important reason. You have a data frame, you want to do some analysis, but you want to get rid of some extraneous data frame. But you want to get rid of some extraneous columns. Columns that you think are not essential for a particular analysis. For example, let's say iris is a very huge data frame, and then it has, four columns, right? The species sepal length, sepal width, and then petal length, petal width, and then the species, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 columns. So the first two are sepal and width and length. The second are petals, width and length, and this is the species. Now say for example, you want to do an analysis or some kind of a machine learning algorithm where you want to determine the species based on just the sepal, okay? You don't want to do the analysis on petals, at least for now. How do you do it? You just want to lose these columns, right? You just want to have three columns: sepal length, sepal width, and species. How do you do that? Okay. Well, the first way to do it is by changing the original data frame itself. Now remember, most of the time you would want to create a new data frame. Unless the data frame is huge, in which case you want to change the original data frame itself. Most of the time you want to create a new data frame and then do some manipulation on that data frame rather than the original one itself. But when you have a series of workflow events, like you're starting with stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, in that case you might not want to create new data frames because you might not want to use the original data frame itself, and so you modify the original data frame itself. So in cases like that, this is a useful method. If you want to modify the original data frame and then remove that column, all you have to do is specify the column and set it to null. Set the column to null. That will just remove that column, right? You see, the species column is gone now. It's not there anymore. So this is one way of doing it. The second way of doing it is by creating a new data frame. I think this is iris underscore small of comma, which means all the rows, comma, minus 5. So when you say minus 5, you're essentially providing an index to a column and saying lose the fifth column. So if you say 5, it just includes the fifth column. But if you say minus 5, give me all the columns except the fifth column. So this is another way to delete a column from a data frame. But in this method, the original data frame stays intact, and the new data frame that you create will have the columns that you need minus the column that you want to lose. So let's try it in R. Okay, how do you delete columns? Okay, so iris underscore small is this copy of iris, which has a smaller subset. But you don't need iris underscore small. You can have the entire data set. Just copy it to iris underscore small, like so. Iris underscore small equals iris, right? So head iris underscore small equals all the 5 columns, right? So there are 5 columns and we want to lose the species column. The way to do that is by setting the species to null, right? Set the species of iris underscore small to null. Now, if you do iris underscore small, oh, I think we didn't do the column name right. I think we should do iris underscore dollar. That's where the prompting comes in handy. Iris dollar species is equals null. Now, head of iris underscore small should not have the species column anymore. So that makes sense, right? You have specifically referred to this column and said set it to null. So this column is gone, and the new data frame does not have this column anymore. This is how you lose a column in the original data frame. The other way is with subsetting. So you have this original data frame, iris underscore small. We're not going to change that, but instead create a new data frame and then lose a particular column. In this case, we are losing the fifth column, which is the species. The way to do that is with this command. But before we do that, iris underscore small has already changed, right? So we want to say iris underscore small equals iris. We're essentially resetting iris underscore small. So it should have all the 5 columns now, right? Now we're going to create this new data frame, which is a subset of iris underscore small. The way it's a subset is by losing the 5th column, which is the species column, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Enter. Now let's see what is iris underscore no underscore species. So when we said -5, so this is the 5th column, and -5 just got rid of this column and then has given a subset of this data frame, just 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we have assigned that to this new data frame. So the new data frame is the old data frame minus the 5th column.